important to put this into perspective. 2 days before the US airstrikes and his capture, President Maduro, who had reached out to Trump, he had said Venezuela is ready to assist US in battling drug trafficking. He had extended the olive branch. Listen in.
The first thing he told me was Mr. President Maduro, and I responded, Mr. President Donald Trump. I think that conversation was even pleasant, but the events following the conversation haven't been so. Let's hope. To the people of the United States, I say what I've always said. Venezuela, you have a brother country. To the people of the United States, I say we are a friendly government. We must start to speak seriously with the facts in hand. The US government knows that because we have said it a lot to the interlocutors that if they want to speak seriously about an agreement to battle drug trafficking, we are ready to do that. If they want Venezuela's oil, Venezuela is ready to accept US investments like that of Chevron when, where and how they want to make them.
Rani, I want to come to you, especially with regards to how much importance this clip now gains and will be made part of the questions that will be asked to Trump. It is on record. Maduro had extended an olive branch. He had said that we are willing to cooperate with the US in battling drug trafficking. Then why such immediate action in 2 days?
You heard President Donald Trump himself saying that, he did receive olive branch. He did, he acknowledged the fact that President Nicolas Maduro did extend an offer to cooperate with the United States, but that was late. President Donald Trump may say that, we would not want to cooperate with Nicolas Maduro, and the kind of language which is being used by the U.S. State Department, or Rohit mentioned about the Pam Bondi's statement, that clearly shows that what will be the approach of the Trump administration as far as Mr. Maduro is concerned, because he won't be treated as the head of enemy state, but rather he'll be treated as a fugitive. And they are already having Nicolas Maduro in their custody. So now he will be at the mercy of the U.S. At the mercy of U.S. as a state and Mr. Trump as its U.S. president. So he doesn't have an option here. And I think President Maduro might have seen it coming, because if you see the statement, the kind of force accretion, the kind of buildup US is having since September 2025, and if you see the very pattern of this operation, Swayasha, they have already worked it out. Like, this operation was initiated post 10 p.m. And this was over within few hours. They have already the military bases, they have knocked out the power stations. There is power outage in Caracas in many areas. This is already like 8 a.m. in Caracas now, but there is a lot of chaos in Caracas and other parts of Venezuela, and they have executed this operation with a military precision. They have taken out the president and his wife from his wherever he was, be it presidential palace or any of his hideout. We do not know as yet that from where exactly he was taken out, but clearly there has to be some apparatus on ground, because US has worked it out, this operation, and such precision can only take place when you have your own ground collaboration. So either the inner team or inner core circle of President Maduro was compromised or bought by the US, but this was a military operation carried out by the United States, and now they will decide the further course. And we have to see that what President Donald Trump says during his presser.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And not much time to go for that, about 3.5 hours, less than that rather. But Rohit, I want to come to you, because as far as Russia is concerned, they had strategic stakes in Venezuela. They do. And they will certainly look at this as the US crossing the red line. With regards to the US lecturing Russia on its actions on Ukraine and Syria, I mean, who is US now to talk? They have certainly landed themselves on a weaker moral ground.
Well, I don't think this administration would believe that, right? I mean, as we're trying to say, it's not like the Russians went to Ukraine to just, I shouldn't say this, but to just take out their President Zelensky and just, left Ukraine, right? They invaded Ukraine. So there are clear difference in the approach here. I think the Americans went into Venezuela, removed President Maduro, who they have a warrant against, and will present him in the court of law, unlike the Russians. So I think there's a distinct, well, there is a difference and distinct approach here as to how the US is dealing with its adversaries versus what the Russians are doing. So that's number one. Number two, I think, as far as America is concerned, I think they've always done this, right? And look, we should also take a moment and understand and explain this to our audiences that, Maduro was never in good books of any US president. I mean, he came to power in 2013, a election that a lot of people had contested. A lot of people had been fleeing Venezuela for the conditions that have happened in Venezuela. A lot of Venezuelans who live in the US fled because of Maduro, because he was corrupt, because he was tyrant. I mean, the kind of hyperinflation they had seen, it was impossible for some of those people to live in Venezuela. So a lot of people fled Venezuela, which again, President Trump has said multiple times that he's responsible for sending people into America by creating those circumstances in Venezuela that people had no choice but to leave Venezuela. So I think he's somebody who has never been in good books of any U.S. presidents in the last 15, 20 years. Even if you go back to President Obama, even they were not happy with how Maduro was able to secure power in Venezuela. So from a lot of Venezuelans who live in America, I think they're seeing this as a moment of change. They believe that America has done the right thing, and hopefully there will be a leader that would, big change in Venezuela. Now, for America, it should be in America's interest, right? That's number one. So I think largely, yes, America has lectured other countries on stuff they should and shouldn't do. But as far as America is concerned, as far as President Trump is concerned, a lot of people are welcoming what he's done in Venezuela. I think the bigger question remains as to what happens there now after Maduro has been removed. We also heard from Senator Tom Cotton, who went on to say that it's up to the interim government in Venezuela to decide what they want to do. So this is the first time, Suresh, that somebody has referred or used the term interim government, which possibly could mean that America is already working with one of the leaders. We do not know who that is. Could be the vice president right now, to understand what comes after this. So we'll have to wait and watch. But I think definitely different approach when it comes to how Russia dealt with Ukraine and how US is dealing with Venezuela.
Right, Rohit, of course, keeping our viewers ahead on every single development and lots of changes as we move from 2025 to 2026.